Within 2 hours of our video yesterday, Bitcoin did in fact break out of this descending triangle, and we're going to show you what just changed on these charts, because believe me, there's a lot going on. And more importantly, we're going to show you exactly what this pattern means, especially if we breach this key level. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Gilbert Gainers, and boy, do we have some exciting price action to talk to you about today, guys. Literally within 2 hours of posting yesterday's update, talking and just confirming the pattern of a descending triangle and a drop imminent, we actually got a pretty nice drop, and we got a continued follow through actually a few hours ago as well. So we're going to be diving into the charts, talking about that. We're going to also be talking about what it means that we've breached this key moving average on the daily, because something specific did happen. We've been talking about the previous 3 times it's done this in 2020, and guys, it seems to be following that again exactly. And we're going to show you exactly what happened those other 3 times and what would need to happen this time for it to repeat a 4th time. And guys, even more importantly, we have another rising wedge that we want to show you as well. Wow, and guys, did you know if you turn this button blue, you and your neighbor will develop a deep fascination that will turn into romance, which will turn into everlasting love. And guys, time is almost out. If you're interested in trading, you want to get some bonuses, and you want to enter for some Christmas time giveaways, make sure to sign up with my link to Bybit below. Experienced traders only, and also if you want to support the channel. Dirty dumpage, guys. So basically, we filmed yesterday's video right around $18,650-ish per Bitcoin, and less than about an hour and a half after uploading that, we got a very nice move to the downside. And you can see a few hours later, we actually had it play out even lower, all the way down to about 17.6. Now, is this the end of this pullback, or if this is the end of this trend and it's the beginning of a new trend, meaning a downtrend, as we've been in an uptrend for the past 2 months? Now, guys, we have a lot to be delving into on these charts, but specifically, I want to start off here, right? If we just take a look on this chart, this is all the way back to the very beginning of October, when Bitcoin was trading right above and right around 10,000 and 11,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, before we had one of the most parabolic moves in Bitcoin's chart. Now, something really interesting, if we just take a quick look at this chart, we've obviously been in a completely parabolic structure, but the one thing I think is very interesting about this chart is not necessarily the top line, but this bottom line, which on this chart here, we have this on the daily chart. We've had numerous touches here back in the middle of October, and then in the very beginning of November. We revisited it here just at the very end of November, and now we've just, within the last 24 hours, come back down and touched it again. Now, guys, if we're going to get that massive turnaround, that massive reversal in price, I think this is exactly where it happens, right? Breaking this $17,600 level is huge. Obviously, there's some key horizontal support we're going to look at on some of these other charts. But specifically, just looking at this simple pattern, breaking this, I personally think we are going to enter a bigger downtrend. So it's very key. One thing we note right away, though, is that we have a very strong wick on this daily chart so far. Now, obviously, the momentum seems to be turning very obviously, right, to the downside. As we've set lower and lower highs, we've been talking about a pullback for quite a while now. And in fact, most people are also talking about a pullback. Seems pretty unanimous at this point. And as well, we have 4 macro touches, meaning on these longer time frames where we've had a couple of days holding support each on these levels, right? We had a few days back at the beginning of October, or the middle of October. We had a few days at the beginning of November, a few days at the very end of November, and now this is our first day of this 4th time touching, right? We have 1, and we have 2, this is 3, and this is our 4th. And this is about the last 2 months now. So this is a significant amount of time as well. And guys, most importantly, if we go to the daily chart, this is something we've been talking about a lot, but I have something new to add to this, because as we've been following this pattern as it's played out over the past 2 months and comparing it to the other 3 times we've had very similar moves, we've been kind of referencing certain points in each structure along the way. And as well, before we get into that as well, I just wanted to highlight something we talked about 4 days ago at this point, about June 3rd, the video, June 3rd, 2019. So far, again, guys, this is playing out exactly like we talked about like 4 days ago. So keep that in mind. We're going to keep revisiting that as long as this pattern completely remains the same. But for the past few days, that's exactly what happened. So let's compare this here. So at the very beginning of 2020, January 7th, we had that cross. Now, after we revisit the 21-day moving average multiple times, the same thing has happened 3 other times so far, and they're all highlighted by these light blue circles. And then this lighter green circle is kind of the follow-through that I'm about to show you that we haven't yet done on this chart. but we're watching for. Okay, so after we visit the 21 day at least 2 times, right? Because every single time on the first revisit to the 21 day moving average, all 3 times, actually all 4 times now in 2020, we've gotten strong bounces and went on to set a newer high. But the key thing here is after we've had more than 1 touch, so at least 2 and even up to 3 on some of these charts on the 21 day moving average, we've gone below it, but then subsequently popped back up above the 21 day only to get rejected again. And that's happened 3 other times, all 3 for 3 times in the year 2020 so far. And the question is now, are we going to make that 4 for 4? So what would that mean? What would have to happen on this chart for that to actually hold true? And again, I mean, you can see on our most recent one back in September, same exact thing happened, right? We come back down here, we breach through the 21 day, we come back up and go right back above the 21 day, but then fall. And then we set the bearish cross, which we've gotten on every single time in 2020 so far. So is this going to be 4 for 4? So basically what that would look like on this daily chart, if that did happen, obviously, I mean, just looking at this, it looks quite bearish, right? We're below the 21 day moving average. It's something myself and many people have been talking about for a few days now, as we referenced that other pattern back on June 3rd, 2019. But yeah, what that would look like is potentially a bounce in the next few days or even sooner back above this level, basically though setting a lower high, so anything kind of below 19.5, 19.6, right? 19.6 was a very key level we were watching as well. But yeah, coming back up here, failing to get a higher high and then getting pushed back down. So what would happen if we did have that? You know, we push back up above 19.2, 19.3, so an entire $1,000 more than we are at the time of me recording this video just now. Do you think people would start getting bullish again? I personally think they would, right? And I personally think that if that scenario did play out, it would be very silly to get bullish at that very instant because we've had that fake out 3 other times in the last year. And if we had it again, the last thing I would be doing is celebrating setting a lower high or just breaching 19,000. At this point for me to get extremely bullish, we would basically need to break our high, which is obviously pretty high. It's basically $20,000 at this point. It's right above 19,900. So if over the next few days we do have that fake out where as we're below the 21 day moving average right now, if we come back up above it, guys, I personally don't think in the short term that's the time to be getting bullish. Okay, with that being said, we're extremely bullish for the next few months, and obviously that pattern on June 3rd, 2019 ended up turning into a massively bullish pattern. So even though I'm talking bearish about this move this instant, overall it's an incredibly bullish move. We just need more of a pullback first to completely replicate that other pattern about a year and a half ago that we're talking about. All right, so basically my point here is just if we get above the 21-day moving average, if we break 19,200 again, don't necessarily start counting your chickens just yet, right? We're not doing anything special just because we break back above 19,000 and just because we break above the 21-day moving average on this daily chart, right? Hold your horses a little bit. We could still have some more significant downside in the very, very short term before blasting through 20, 25, 30,000 US dollars, which I think is inevitable and is going to happen, in my opinion, within the next 2 to 3 months. By the way, I also say in my opinion all the time because it's my opinion. So definitely just want to watch out for that. So far, this pattern is repeating exactly like we talked about, guys. Remember, a few days ago, I'll flash the thumbnail here. A few days ago, that was what the entire video was about. And within those last few days, that's exactly what has happened so far. So far, again, this is playing out perfectly, exactly. All the targets from yesterday's video are still the exact same. But guys, I'm also just extremely interested in this chart. If we actually do break 17.6, which we've wicked up extremely strongly so far today, but again, don't count your horses just yet, guys. It's still really, really, really early on. And in my opinion, the tides in the short term are turning to where we might see some more dumpage. And I actually got a lot of comments in yesterday's video saying, no way, Jose, there's no way we're dumping. And then within an hour and a half, that's exactly what we did. So why don't you munch on those jelly beans? Massive, guys, and as well, all comments do enter you to win a Ledger, equivalent BTC, or access to T4, and as well, only very, very limited time left if you want to get massive deposit bonuses for the holiday season, and there are insane Christmas giveaways as well on their website. Just make sure to check out the link pinned in the comments and description. Check out a free tutorial here as well if you're interested. But guys, whether it's leverage, whether it's spot, whatever your trading is, trading inherently is risky. I get people in the comments sometimes saying they don't know how to trade, so I always say, don't trade. If you don't know how to trade, then I wouldn't recommend using this link or just trading in general right now. Maybe watch some more videos, do your own research. before you ever get invested in trading. And again, this is just my personal opinion and what I do, but I only trade with a small fraction of my portfolio, at most, usually around maybe 10%. So again, you want to be careful, and there's really no point in risking your entire portfolio on trades. I would rather lose 10% of my portfolio than 100%. Even though doubling my portfolio sounds really appetizing, you have to weigh the risk to reward, so always be careful.